Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. This is Oracle Ong. Thanks so much for tuning in. Um, I am in very good mood actually. I came from a Reiki healing session yesterday, so my energies are feeling very fresh. I feel very restored. I feel very centered. I did a reading out in the park. It was actually I think the last summery day of the year here in Massachusetts, and we were out and it's nice and it's sunny. I felt so connected. I felt that I had to complete this reading for my friend Mark. So, my friend Mark has a very complicated set of questions about his family life, but also with some love life questions, sub questions thrown in there as well, and a career possibility also on the horizon. So um, it sounds like he's working through a lot of issues. And if I were to just rephrase his question, I would phrase it as what guidance from the Spirit does Mark need at the moment to help him navigate through all these obligations that are weighing down on him? So um, I'll just draw once again a Celtic card spread of 10 cards. I'll do 6 cards first, and then we can see what the energies are and continue through. So these were the first 2 cards that came out, representing the set of issues, the central set of issues that Mark is dealing with. So here is the King of Wands, a very positive energy, actually. Somebody who um, is very willful, very creative, lots of initiative. He can make things happen out there. Um, and it's a very external fire energy that's being exerted here. So if I were to interpret that, this is where Mark is at the moment. He is being asked to be the King of Wands, to set forth, initiate a lot of projects, to lead whole teams, um, whole groups, herd the family, be the leader, take responsibility, take on that burden. And this is the second card, which is often kind of interpreted as working in dialectic with the first card. So the King of Wands being tempered by this very different energy here. It's a Cups card, the Nine of Cups. And the Cups is a water, um, uh, represents the element of water. So obviously it's about emotions, and here it's about self-love, it's about self-care, nurturing, rather than thinking about other people's problems. It's about taking time out for oneself. It's a very tender card. There's a masturbatory kind of imagery here, as you can see. Um, Obviously, in love with oneself, making sure that the one's personal needs are taken care of. It's asking you to take time out, um, allow space for restoration. So this kind of fire energy is being obviously tempered by water right away, and so there's a conflict. There's a dialectic right at the beginning, and it's interesting here. Looking at the 2 cards representing the your conscious thoughts, 2 of Cups, a very sweet card, again about emotional connection, possibly a romantic connection. Um, you're thinking about possibly a promise, a promise made to a partner or a friend or one of your close family members. You're thinking about something that was agreed upon that you hold sacred, and you wish so hard to force that to take place, to preserve that future, that possible future. A lot of the energies of the King of Wands is externalized to making sure that happens. Could there have been a promise made? And your subconscious is another cups card, a lot of emotions. So there's a lot of flowing emotions here. And I kind of like interpret them rather differently. They're directed towards different people. So I would interpret this Two of Cups card as um, possibly to a lover, a romantic partner, while subconsciously you're thinking about something else, another set of obligations, perhaps to a father figure, perhaps your own, yeah, your literal father, someone who has really shown you a lot of love. Here depicted as a very kind, wise grandfather. I mean, could be a granddad too. Somebody who has really taken care of you, possibly um, really you turn to this person for to disclose like your real issues. He's somebody who you've treasured and respected for a long time. Somebody who's non-judgmental. Look at that very gentle face, asking you to take a cup of tea with him. So it sounds like there's two sets of promises here, or maybe even more than two. So the wands, the fire energy, like it's really being consumed and also being doused by um, an external force from the Two of Cups. But this King of Cups is still at the back of your mind. You feel, oh my God, what about this other issue? What about this other commitment that I have made? And it looks like in your recent past, this is the card that came out, the Six of Wands in the reverse. Six of Wands is a in the upright position, as you can see here. There's that rainbow. There's those very proud staffs. In the Rider Waite Smith tarot deck, this card is usually depicted as um, like a proud procession, um, like a ceremony of a victorious figure of a knight riding into town, celebrating victory, and he is being seen and celebrated by the entire community. So that's the original depiction in the Rider Waite Smith deck. So this came out in the reverse. So it kind of like suggests to me as if in your recent past, there was a kind of achievement that you were like really, really proud of. It brought you a lot of honor. But it turned out to actually be not all that was, not all that you imagined, not the true victory that the King of Wands is fully capable of and was expecting. It was a kind of hollow kind of victory, one that, in a way, did not fulfill your capacity to meet all of the obligations. Perhaps this kind of career achievement, in fact, even took time out from your emotional commitments to fulfill this pinky promise, to care for this older father figure. Um, this career achievement has presented even more obstacles for the King of Wands. It's kind of overextending that fire energy. And in your near future, it's interesting that another Wands energy, this time a Queen of Wands, stands in your near future. And I interpret this person as not yourself, but somebody else. Somebody that King of Wands might come into conflict with. It's a similar fiery energy, and I wonder whether there's a person in your life that you're thinking about, who's quite close to you, who is also quite quite determined. This woman will be very strong-willed, somebody that you would tend to butt heads with. You exert this kind of same kind of force. Um, there's a potential conflict here, and you're being invited to find in yourself an ability, and I'd like to come back to this Nine of Cups because there's so many um, persons depicted in your deck at the moment. Take time out for self care. Know exactly what it is that will restore you. Um, this wand's energy is easily depleted, it's easily doused, and it needs to be sustained. So, if anything, the kind of energy that I hope that you will try to muster in the next few months to help you through that obstacle of the Queen of Wands and those conflicting obligations is one of not force, but one of release and surrender, of allowing things to happen. So I'm drawing out the last four cards for you. They're supposed to represent yourself, a possible um, external figure, then an unexpected events that you should just be aware of, just be cautious about, and the final card of your reading. There's a lot of people coming out again. So here's King of Swords, and this card is supposed to represent you. Um, King of Swords represents thoughts and intellect, someone who is very innovative, someone who's incredibly smart, um, and not just book smart, but someone who's also very wise. So if I interpret this as you, this as your central card, it's asking for a different set of energies um, to be channeled. So, one that requires more contemplation rather than external will or initiative and go, 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 let's create, let's do this. Someone who's a bit more um, calm. I love that this card depicts stars as part of the lining of his cape. So it's like the universe. So it represents universal wisdom. It represents like openness to greater mystery, to greater spirit. So not just a very grounded kind of energy that's going to burn through um, burn through everything, right? But someone who will use thoughts, who will use creative, innovative new ideas to solve problems. So you are going to be able to do this. So trust in that. Trust in that new idea that that will, you might have this already, you might know this intuitively, or it might still come. And it might come through quiet contemplation and through those times that you care for yourself. Again, that space for allowing that idea to come to fruition. External um, actor, the chariot, which represents conflict, which represents battle. Um, could could the Queen of Wands and the chariot be related? I'm kind of seeing them on the same plane here in this spread. They look like they're in the same plane together with the Six of Wands. Queen of Wands could actually be a co-worker. Could be a co-worker, could be a boss that you're gonna come into conflict with. Or it could be your mother too. There's going to be a fight. It's going to be a very direct confrontation. Um, and think about what you mean by victory. Having learned the lesson of the Six of Wands in your recent past, you worked so hard to get to that milestone in your career, but it ultimately felt hollow. It ultimately did not sustain you. In fact, even added more pressure to you. You don't want that kind of victory to rule whatever new obstacle that you're trying to solve, right? Um, it will require a little bit more finesse. So the chariot, in some depictions, also kind of represents duality. Um, um, and I think I can see that theme of things coming in pairs. I wonder whether this victory might come from a coming together, a kind of like synthesis, a kind of agreement, um, more than this winner take all. So I hope that makes sense. Let me know if that resonates. Um, a possible external figure or another external event. So like unforeseen circumstances. So these are like possibilities. And you have here the Page of Swords. And the Page of Swords is um, if you watch Game of Thrones, Page of Swords will be, to my mind, very Arya Stark, um, very independent, very wily. Um, she's got great ideas. She's a survivor. Um, and thinking about the King of Swords here and the Page of Swords. So, um, could a part of you be attracted by that kind of lone wolf kind of energy of the Page of Swords? So, the king has been, in a way, your position in your career, in your family, the king as the one who needs to lead the whole clan. You're thinking about potentially going back to basics, pursuing a brilliant idea, carving out your own path. So this is a possibility. This is another kind of like way out. I'm interpreting this as more an aspect of you, um, although it could also represent another person in your life who also might be giving you that inspiration to go at it alone, to pursue something innovative. So, your final card is the Ten of Wands. The Ten of Wands, and it came out in the reverse. So, obviously from the image, and it's another wands card, so lots and lots of wands, a lot of fire energy, burning through things. It's a lot of external force, and it's really weighing down on you, all those obligations, all the conflicts, things that you've been building. You're tired, right? But this came out in the reverse. That's going to be released. You will, that energy of having to carry all this weight on your shoulders, that's going to come through. You are going to resolve that. But how you do that needs some finesse. It's not going to come from burning through more wands. It's not having to come from these types of hollow victories or butting heads directly, winner take all style, with your external, with your enemies. Again, the chariot. And they're all on the same row, actually, and Ten of Wands. So for these wands to kind of be released from you, um, I'm I'm getting a sense of synthesis, rebirth, having to balance. Two of Cups here. So, Pinky Promises and King of Cups. And I can see synthesis happening here too. Pouring one liquid to another. I can see the King of Swords and the Page of Swords working together, that perhaps to manifest your ideal version of yourself, there's a need to go back to basics. And don't forget to love yourself, to take time out for yourself. So I hope that resonates. A lot of fire here. Finally, I'd like to draw an oracle card. This is from the Spirit Animal Oracle deck. Just to get the sense of what spirit animal you should be externalizing or internalizing. You don't need more externalizing now. You need to internalize, to inhabit in you. And this card jumps out. Wasp spirit. Sometimes life stings. So you might be feeling this. There's a lot of suffering, injury. You feel that you've been hurt, um, but that is necessary for growth. That is absolutely from our pain, from knowing exactly and understanding where it comes from, the roots of that pain. You're able to learn things. You're able to gain And not just knowledge, but that kind of spiritual wisdom, that wisdom of the heart, right? And that's going to get you through. That's going to allow you to understand what is real victory, what matters the most to me, right? That will help me sort through all these competing issues, asking for more and more from me, right? Um, Having been hurt, I'm able to go within myself to know exactly what I need to do. It is in those moments of pause that rebirth, new ideas, that Arya Star kind of spirit will come through. So I hope that resonates. Thank you so much. Let me know your feedback